Hey guys, as you know from my weekly newsletter, I hold a reasonable part of my portfolio in Ether. Earlier this week, ETH broke through its all-time highs and appears to set to breach 5k any day now. There are many reasons for this. Reasons which I have illuminated on my numerous videos I have done on Ethereum over the past year. However, I can confidently say that I'm just as bullish today as I was then. Factors like utility demand in DeFi and NFTs is leading to a mad rush for block space. Reduced supply from fee burns is making it a rare asset. The looming proof-of-stake merge could supercharge these fee burns and bring sustained deflation. This is of course not going unnoticed. Investment demand is picking up as whales and institutions are stacking and staking ETH at record levels. And according to the latest research and reports from some of the investment banks, this trend is only likely to continue. I cover all of this in my latest Ethereum update video. I also dive into some of the most exciting price predictions and analysis that I have seen to date. This is not a video you want to miss. You can watch it here. Portfolio update. No changes in the portfolio this week, guys. However, on Tuesday, I did claim some ENS from the airdrop, which occurred the day before. It's quite a small percent, so it's not included in the breakdown. There are a few tokens, coins that are on my radar, which I may include in the coming week. As always, I will keep you updated on this in my Telegram channel. Thoughts on market. It's been a bit of a mixed week in the crypto market. Bitcoin has been on a steady decline over the last few days, while select altcoins continue to hit new all-time highs. Most of these are related to the metaverse, and I covered one of these cryptos recently. Given the rest of the market is in a bit of a slump, I would be very cautious about any cryptocurrencies going against the grain, especially if they look as overextended as many of these metaverse plays. If you're wondering where the FUD is coming from, the answer seems to be stablecoin regulation, something I also recently covered. The TLDR there is that US regulators want US politicians to put laws in place that subject stablecoin issuers to the same standards as banks. This might sound a bit scary, but it centers almost entirely around insurance and the assets backing the stablecoin tokens in circulation. Another factor that seems to be weighing the crypto market down is the recent rejection of Van Eck's spot Bitcoin ETF. In contrast to the futures Bitcoin ETFs, we have now a physically backed or spot ETF is backed by actual BTC. This means the company issuing the ETF shares has to actually go out and buy Bitcoin to back those shares, which has a direct effect on the price of BTC. Futures backed by Bitcoin ETFs just create deviations in Bitcoin future prices. On the bright side, we seem to be on the cusp of a futures-backed Ethereum ETF, something I covered in my video today. I know I just said that this would have no direct effect on the price of the crypto in question, in this case Ethereum, but it does have an indirect effect. Besides the hype around the event itself, a futures-backed Ethereum ETF would give a lot of legitimacy to ETH as an asset. A lot of institutional investors are fans of ETH too, so it's possible we could see additional indirect factors pushing up its price. In terms of what it's store for the crypto market this week, it looks like Bitcoin will continue drifting down to between 61 and 62k, where a lot of price support sits. However, it's also possible that we could see a sudden reversal come Monday, and that's because of Bitcoin's upcoming Taproot Upgrade that's scheduled to happen today. This requires its own section. Taproot Upgrade. Assuming Bitcoin's Taproot Upgrade goes smoothly, It should be live by the time you read this sentence. Taproot is admittedly technical, but the simplest explanation is that the Taproot upgrade makes every Bitcoin transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain look identical. This is more significant than you think, and that's for 3 reasons. First, institutional investors often use multi-signature wallets to custody their BTC. Prior to Taproot, BTC transactions made from these multi-sig wallets were easy to spot using a blockchain explorer. Obviously, this created some degree of risk because you could theoretically figure out who holds the keys to these wallets and force them to sign a transaction. With Taproot, transactions made from multi-sig wallets look like a transaction made from a regular wallet. This increases privacy for institutional investors, which should theoretically make them more comfortable investing in Bitcoin. It could also make the SEC more willing to approve a physically backed Bitcoin ETF, because it would make BTC custody for such an ETF more secure for the same reason. Second, Bitcoin's Lightning Network is arguably the key global Bitcoin adoption. Prior to Taproot, the multi-sig transactions used to open and close Lightning Network channels were likewise easy to spot using a blockchain explorer. Again, this created some degree of risk, because you could theoretically figure out which 2 parties are part of that payment channel. With Taproot, transactions made from multi-sig wallets, when Lightning Network channels are opened and closed, look identical to a transaction made from a regular wallet. This increases privacy for Lightning Network users, and regulatory rhetoric suggests the privacy of the Lightning Network is on par with Monero. This should theoretically make the Lightning Network a sort of high-performance privacy layer for Bitcoin transactions. Last but certainly not least, Taproot could be a precursor to the blow-off top of this bull market. Bitcoin's last upgrade happened in August 2017. This upgrade was called SegWit, and has essentially doubled Bitcoin transaction speed. 4 months after SegWit went live, Bitcoin hit its all-time high of nearly 20k. Now, obviously, there's no guarantee the same thing will happen this time around, but it's certainly something to keep in mind going to early 2022. Free crypto. On Monday, I was happy to learn that I got some free crypto sent my way. That was in the form of the ENS airdrop that was given to all of those addresses who own or who had owned an ENS domain name, .eth. As I explained earlier, I will be holding that ENS for some time, but the main thing I wanted to talk about is just how lucrative these airdrops can be. I have received a number of these over the past year, and many of them were completely unexpected. For example, I had received the Uni and one airdrops last year, as well as the DYDX one in September. However, I happen to think that we could see a flood of airdrops in the coming months. That is mainly as a result of projects trying to quickly decentralize themselves while still keeping the community engaged with the protocol. Moreover, I will allow the community governance that will take the heat off of the protocol developers from overzealous regulators. So this all then begs the question: can you predict airdrops? Well, it's not an exact science, as it always comes down to the decisions of the project team itself. They may have very specific legal or operational reasons as to why they want to avoid any sort of distribution. For example, many may want to avoid airdropping to US residents. Moreover, while the airdrops that you read about in the press are lucrative, there is a minefield of really low-value airdrops happening on substandard protocols. There are also a lot of scam airdrops out there that tend to sucker in the newer crypto users. Having said all this though, I happen to think that there are still some really high-valued airdrops around the corner, and there are a number of things that you can look for. I should of course caveat that this is all my personal opinion and speculation. Firstly, as I explained in a Telegram post the other day, a prime candidate could be MetaMask. There was a lot of speculation about this before and it seems long overdue. If you want to increase your chances, consider using the MetaMask AMM to swap some tokens. If you were going to swap something anyways, it's a win-win. Then you have to consider all of the other popular Ethereum 2-layer solutions that don't have their own token yet. These includes the likes of Arbitrum and Optimism. I've given a guide on how to use these protocols here, and they are a great way to reduce gas fees. If there's a small chance you could get a future airdropped, all the better. Then you also have to consider that of the NFT marketplace that are out there, a prime example there is OpenSea, which, unlike Rarible and Super Rare, does not have a governance token. Could they consider dropping one? Maybe, maybe not. But if you were considering picking up an NFT at all, you may as well use it as it's the most popular guide here. Of course, while we are on the topic of NFTs, some of the most popular collections are dropping community governance tokens to the holders. For example, recently you had the AGLD airdrop on all holders of Adventure Gold. There are so many of these going on that I can't mention all of them. But if you were thinking of buying an NFT at all, consider looking into those that have opened the doors for potential airdrops. You also have to consider that everything I mentioned above is on the Ethereum blockchain. There's extensive potential for other airdrops on other chains like Solana, Avalanche, and Cardano. There's a lot more to the airdrop conundrum, and I will be coming back to it with an updated video guide. But though that I would share some initial hints and tips here. That's all I have to say for this newsletter. However, I've recently been racking my brain to come up with ideas to thank all of you guys for your support. One idea I'm toying with is holding a Coin Bureau crypto event in London. I have alluded to this in a recent video, and it's an idea that I'm only just building out with the rest of the team. However, if you want to be kept updated with developments there, then you probably want to give me a follow on Twitter to be kept in the loop.